Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black. Enjoy.
So yeah, man, this we gonna try to make sure everybody cool and copacetic and everything, but like this is gonna be a very interesting conversation just from the pre-production. So look, I just got one question, bro. Have you ever had to take a dump during a Zoom call?
Yo, I ain't gonna. All right, I ain't even gonna front. I did, bro. Absolutely. Hey, I ain't had a camera on though.
What
You
you
had to
mean?
make.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
No,
mute?
I'm
Did you
serious.
mute?
Hey, bro. Listen, I
Did
was
you
in
put
a
it on mute
long.
too?
I was in an extended meeting, like a long 2-hour meeting, bro. And I was like, man, I can't wait. We're gonna have to put that mute on. I think I fake sent a message or something like my kids making noises or something like that. So I'm gonna be on mute. But you know what's even worse, because you gotta leave the door open so you don't get that echo when you gotta talk.
Oh, no, you tripping.
Nah, I couldn't wait, man. I had to, bro. I had to.
That was a quick one, wasn't it?
Nah, it wasn't quick. I had to wait till you gotta wait till the critical moment where somebody else got like something to present.
Yeah, they flowing with the conversation.
Right, just gotta let them flow, dog. I'm just listening.
Yeah,
I'm just taking it all in. Yeah, bro. It was bad.
hilarious. What about you, Corey?
So, not for Zoom, but on a flight back to Atlanta.
Where you were coming
This
from?
is coming from Cali.
Oh,
So usually what I do is anytime that I'm going on a trip or something.
hold on, bro.
like,
That's like a 4.5-hour flight, bro.
Bro,
was you in there?
I was in there a couple times. So basically, usually when I go on a trip, I try not to eat anything because it's like I don't want my stomach to mess up. So mind you, I had the middle seat too. So this, and I think this was an early morning flight. So everybody asleep or whatever, and stomach start hurting. So I'm trying to tough it out because it's a public restroom, and I don't really I don't like public restroom, but if I gotta do it, I gotta do. So I'm like, man, I'm in the middle seat. Everybody, good thing most people they sleep, so it won't be so obvious. So I gotta worry the person next to me. So I get up, go to the restroom. All right, cool. Take care of my business. And anybody that's been on a flight, they know those
That's the
airplanes, bro. They're so small,
Yeah,
man.
That's the worst, man.
Small.
They're so small. So I do what I do. Go back to my seat or whatever. Start hurting again. I'm like, man. So now I got to worry the person again and get up. I'm like, all right, here we go. So this time, though, there are people in line to use it. So I'm like, man, I don't want to stand up. I want to try to sit down as long as I can because bro, it was bad. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna wait to the line. It was probably 2 or 3 people. So I go in there again. This time, it was just it took a little longer, and the flight attendant. I was in there for so long, and other people start coming. It was a line start building up. The flight attendant knocked on the door. She said, "You all right in there?" I said,
"Hey,
yeah.
dog,
bro, it was bad, man." Bro, that was the worst experience. So, do that. By this time, we're landing or whatever. So I get to the back to the airport. On the way with my luggage. On the way to the Uber Lyft area. Stomach start hurting again. I had to turn all the way back around, go back into the airport, and use the restroom again. Bro, that was horrible, man. Man, I don't even remember, man. Probably one of them. I can't remember what we had the day before or the night before.
You know what it was? It was that tea Brian was giving you.
I don't think I was drinking. Yeah, I don't think I was drinking that tea.
Well, you gave him some detox tea or something?
Yeah, it was some detox tea. That's probably what it was, bro. If you had
Bro,
some,
why in the world you take some detox tea before you
Bro,
go on
I
the
don't.
flight?
I don't think I had any detox. See, probably the In and Out or one
No,
of them
that's
places.
you probably didn't know you had detox tea, but JD knew you had
yeah, if you
detox.
just
No,
had,
I didn't.
you didn't
I
take
didn't
drink
drink
any
any.
tea.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't drink any tea.
Okay.
It could have been the In and Out, bro. Like, I mean,
It was something, bro. It just.
Dog, let me
Yeah.
just ask you this, dog. You said you was in the middle seat. Hey, did
Yeah.
you did a pre-poop fart on him? you hit him with that boom, you know, the one that let you know you need to go to the bathroom. You ain't hit him like
but he's
that.
trying to ask you that you shart. That's what he's trying to ask you that you shart.
Bro, no, like.
I hope not, dog. That'll.
No, cause like I couldn't take no chance, bro. It was like, bro, it was just bad, man. It was like one of the things I won't ever forget.
Yeah, that sounds like a traumatic experience, bro, for real.
Now,
Like,
Jay, I know you done had some crazy Zoom stories, man. Somebody probably done got on, you know, in their drawers and forgot to turn the camera off or something.
I mean, I'll put it like this. It's been I've even had stuff happen here at the crib, right? Because, you know, I mean, I'm working from the crib and I got two little girls. And I mean, anybody, this is a real thing, right? Anybody that got kids at home, bro, like, well, anybody that got two young black kids at home, their hair ain't gonna be on point all the time, bro. Like,
Oh, man.
so for me, when I'm here by myself, like, it is
don't
what
even-
it is, bro. Like, I'm on a meeting, and usually when I'm on a meeting, I tell the kids, like, look, yo, I got a meeting, y'all kind of hang in the back, chill, whatever. And this was one of them days where they were just like, nah, we're gonna do whatever we wanted to do, and they weren't listening to daddy at all. So, like, Noelle, she's going through that. She was, at the time, she was going through that phase of, like, she like to take her pants off and try to get to her diaper type thing. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just somebody.
Yeah, that's
like they
kids.
So, I'm on a meeting. Like, I'm on an important meeting at the time too. Like, this is a crazy thing. But so she comes in, hair looking crazy, and no pants on, and like basically diaper coming like halfway off. And Jade run in behind her, like mad, screaming. I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, y'all, I apologize, but like, I gotta go.
Was you in the middle of talking?
Yes, like I was in the middle of having like it was a straight presentation type situation, but it was cool. I mean, everybody know that like my kids at the house, and so it wasn't a big deal. But it was a little embarrassing because it kind of looked like I don't really be tending to my children. But it was just it happened to happen like that before. But like, yeah, that was probably the most crazy experience in terms of like having to like take a dump. I usually, bro, if I gotta take a dump, I'm on some like, I go to the mute button and I make sure that I stop video and I make sure that I hit mute and then
check it again.
Yeah, and check it again and then go and dip. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the crazy thing about Zoom though. Like in just in this time period of making sure your stuff situated before you go into a meeting. That's like the most difficult part.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I had a Zoom call one time from the house. Working from home. Honestly, I wasn't dressed for the occasion. You know how people go like over and above just to set the tone. Like, they got like the top half suited up. You know what I'm saying? Got the tie. What you trying to say, see?
Of course.
I mean, you got the chinchilla on, man, around the neck. Man.
That's alpaca, dog. It's alpaca.
It ain't hit 20 degrees.
You got to block that. Nah, man. But like they get suited up and so on and so forth. But I just wasn't feeling it that day. I was like, I'm about to be in this meeting, so I'm just gonna say my camera ain't functioning properly.
Right.
And so I said that, started the meeting, but then like my finger slipped and I accidentally hit the camera button real quick.
Oh.
And I had to turn that joint off so fast. Right. So, those moments.
Did they see it? Did anyone say anything about it?
Nobody said anything. I was quick with the trig. But
I mean, you said that it's not functioning properly, so that could easily be.
I mean, there you go. Just it function right off.
Yeah, like come on and go right off. So
exactly.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Man.
But really, when you don't realize you're it's not on mute, and if you're saying stuff in the background, that's happened before.
Oh,
Not to me personally, but like people, be saying stuff and like, yeah, your thing is not on mute.
yeah, bro. I be hating when people have like full-fledged conversations going on in the background. Or like, you got to make sure that everything's situated and be prepared for a meeting. Like, I mean, I know we talking about a dump or whatever, and really the way Zoom has been incorporated in our lives, like it's a real thing now, right? It's no way to
Yeah.
run away from it. It's a part of our DNA at this point. And so just looking at how to adjust from it, like to where we are now versus when we first got onto it and where everybody had to do it, and it felt like it wasn't as seamless to some that it was to like, I mean, for us, I felt like we've all used Zoom prior to like pandemic situations before, you know what I'm saying? But to see those people who had to like get accustomed to using Zoom and like just not knowing the proper Zoom etiquette, it's just
Yeah.
hilarious to be.
Yeah, absolutely. What is Zoom etiquette? What's acceptable? What's taboo?
Putting it on mute when you're not talking.
Okay.
That might be number one, Corey. That might be number one. Yeah.
You know how many people don't actually realize how necessary that is, bro?
Oh man.
Even little background noise is like, it's kind of annoying.
Like, so I'll say if you're in an informal type meeting where everybody kind of like how we are like right now, everybody's expected to have something to say,
Right.
pretty conversational, cool. But if you in something where there's like 20 people in the room, fam, if you're not talking, go mute it. Just stay muted until you really got something to say. Because there's way too many people in a session for people to be hearing like dogs barking in the background or
Right.
Yep.
is yelling. The lawn care guy outside, he, it's just like all of these things happening at one time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I feel like people, they try to create this perception that, their home setting is just as acceptable as the office. But low key, Zoom has kind of evolved into the space where anything goes to some extent too, because everybody has an excuse. Like if you're working from home, if you're a parent, even if you and your spouse are trying to share, the same space. I mean, see, Wiz, you ain't got those problems. You know what I'm saying? You working from the man pad over there. You got the Falcons up on the right, Braves up on the left. Shout out to the world champs, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. But you know what I'm saying? Like you got to share space in many situations. Like I don't talk to couples who, live in an apartment, for instance, and they both have, very important meetings at the same time. And your bedroom is kind of taboo. Like you don't really want to take the Zoom call from the bedroom, but let's say you got a 1-bedroom apartment and now both of y'all are kind of trying to figure out how to balance the back porch or balance the living space with TV. Your wife might need, I don't know, a special setup. You might need it. Maybe y'all have one device. I mean, it's so many challenges that come along with it. But I kind of feel like it also allowed everybody to be normal and to kind of take off the little layers of put a front on for my job.
Right.
And now they get to see you in your space, in your home space, and really see, what it's about. I kind of like it like that, honestly. It's a little more authentic.
So I agree with that. The only pushback I'll give is that the expectations just changed, though, right? Because when you're working from home and you're working remotely and you have Zoom, the expectation is that you're always available. And I think that we had to figure out a way to really learn to set some boundaries with everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'll say for me personally, when you working remotely, bro, and all you got to do is wake up and go to your computer, sometimes people think that they can literally hit you up at any time and you can wake up and go to your computer. And so
some people expect that.
Yeah, and some people expect that because you're working from home and it's like a real rollover type and go to work. And it's like, no, fam, my schedule is exactly what my schedule was when I was in the office. And
right,
if I do something extra, then that's just me wanting to do it. But you can't expect for me you send something at 6:30 and thinking that I'm looking at it when I'm out the office by 4:30 every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right.
You have to learn to set those boundaries, even though if you are working remotely.
Yeah. See, Wiz, you ever had to work from the crib?
Oh, I work from the crib now, 3 days a week.
Mm.
Oh,
So
man, you lucky, dog. You
You
lucky, man.
you're not working from home
Hey,
anymore, though, right, Mo?
Nah, I mean, we pretty much back. I mean, we, from time to time, but we mainly in person. I work with families and kids and all that kind of stuff. And so when they're in school, we're in session. So
Gotcha.
we're pretty much in office.
you lucky too, man. You got a job.
Oh, see, now
No, don't get all
Nodding now,
biblical
bro.
on me right now, man. Oh,
You're blessed, man.
You're
oh,
blessed.
preacher, highly blessed and highly favored face.
But
Man, come on, man. It's
You
the
know-
season to be jolly.
It's
No,
easy.
you're right.
Jolly.
Fa la 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 la, bro.
La la la. But speaking like working from home and everything too, I'm just thinking like when is it acceptable, bro? Like because we learned that all we need is an internet connection, right? So like, do you work from home on your vacation, or like how do you navigate that, right? Because like I can literally take my computer anywhere as long as I got internet. I can
That's true.
work in. So what kind of boundaries are you setting for yourself, or like are you cool with that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or does your job try to set those boundaries for you?
uh,
Because so
I
I
mean,
feel like
if you're fully remote, man, I mean, you really could do that. I mean, you could be, in another state, really.
I know people doing that, bro. Like I know
Yeah.
people who, I mean, they have been in the office for almost 2 years. Like, keep it real. And
Yeah.
they're like, you know what, I'm about to use this time and just go, get an Airbnb here and there, rent my home out, and just
Right.
go, experience the world. I'm still logging in, still doing my job. What they gonna say?
But I've have y'all heard of people talking about so like let's say if you're in California, for example, of course, you're getting paid more over there. And let's say you're here or you're, I don't know, in Warner Robins.
hmm.
You're living there primarily, that's your primary location, but you're fully remote, but you're technically based out of California. I overheard somebody talking about how those companies are looking into, if they know that you're doing that, then they're going to pay your salary based on where you're primarily located, which is, I mean, that kind of makes sense. If they know that you're primarily based in a place where the cost of living is not as high.
Yeah, I mean I've heard that too, Corey, and I think it's one of those things where I respect both sides of it, right? So you kind of have to know how to play the game. If you got a
Yeah.
spot in Cali, then that address is what's showing. Then everything should be cool, no matter where you spend the majority of your time. Because if you working remotely, no matter where you
Yeah.
are, right? As long as you're keeping the company hours, right? Like if you're in Cali and
Right.
your job is based in New York, then you got to get up. Or excuse, if you're based in New York and you live in Cali or whatever, you got to be with the appropriate time, right? So if your job is
Mm-hmm.
on Eastern time, you got to work on Eastern time, no matter where you are. So if you're in London, that's cool as long as you know exactly what time you're supposed to be at work and you make
Yeah.
everything operate that way. I think it's a special time, bro. Like I personally don't see anything wrong with it. Like
Mhm.
just like Mo said, hey, get your Airbnb, go and get a hotel, and go and work from somewhere else and kind of see the world. Work 8, 9 hours and then leave and go and travel and see the sights. The only thing that I would say from just thinking from a company perspective is that when you're at home in your own space, there's less worry about proprietary information, right? Because like if you're in a hotel, you're on somebody else's server. Who knows? Something can, you know what I mean? Like depending on what type
Yeah,
of job you have, that may come into play. But if you're just doing
Yeah.
like general work, I don't think it'll be a big deal. You just need an internet connection.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think companies have also kind of had to swallow the reality that we are just as productive at home
Mm-hmm.
as we are in the office.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of companies wrestling with that right now because, I mean, let's keep it real. Like the office environment or the work environment, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, is a form of control,
Yep.
right? It is a space where somebody else can kind of, tell you what to do with your time, when to do it, even the feeling of monitoring you, or at least the culture of we're monitoring you, we're watching you, is a thing that kind of keeps people in check. When you at home, but companies are wrestling with that because they have kind of lost that leverage. They've lost that control because for, probably a year to a year and a half to 2 years for some people, honestly, they've proven that I don't need to be in the office.
Yep.
I don't have to be there to do my job. What do you say to that now as a company? Are you saying, no, we need you back in the office? Well, why do you need me in the office? Well, and the answers honestly aren't legit.
You know what the answer is, right?
What's that?
I can't micromanage you.
That part.
That's really all it is. That's all it is.
They won't say it though.
They won't say it, but to what you just said though, Mo, like the issue is with working remotely is that you don't have the managerial aspect becomes tougher, right? Because we can be frank. When you're in the office, there's always that for the majority of a workforce, there's that fear of your boss, right? Like that's so that you have people that when their boss is not at work, it's almost like when we were in school coming up and the teacher rolls out the VCR and the TV and you know that today gonna be a chill day no matter what. Like we watching a movie, everything gonna be gravy, right? So that mentality still goes on today. But when you're working from home, there's no boss rolling up on you, right? You're literally policing yourself while you're at work, and that's a weird term to say, but you know what I'm saying. Like there's some days I can say for myself that I literally wake up, brush my teeth, throw on a robe, and come downstairs and get on the computer. And I'm just working. I'm doing my job effectively, but that's where I'm at. And if I have a meeting, then okay, cool. Let me go and put on a shirt or whatever for my meeting. But no, there's no more sitting and fighting in traffic just to go to a building that most of the time you really don't want to be in that building. I'm willing to bet that the work staff now love their job way more than they did prior to having to work remotely.
Probably so.
It's that building, bro. That sense of feeling like I can't go nowhere. I got 30 minutes to an hour to go and get something to eat, and I got to come back and deal with a bunch of people who I probably don't even really want to deal with. So,
plus living here, even though traffic hasn't been as bad as it was prior to COVID, because a lot of people still working from home and school schedules are a little different.
Which is crazy because there's still a lot of traffic. But it is crazy that is the reality. It hasn't been as bad as it was.
Right.
Yeah. But it's, still too much. But it just, man, you got to get up, especially on the days like, what was it, yesterday, I believe? And it was raining, or maybe today it was raining. Man, you got to get up. You're just thinking the whole time, I don't feel like sitting in traffic. Get dressed, go sit in traffic. To be somewhere you really don't want to be. And then you got to do it all over again coming home.
That's the part that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
You got to come
the work day.
Yeah, it's after the work day.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, it's so peaceful just to turn off your computer and just do whatever you want to do. I can just go sit on the couch if I want to or
your day over.
Whatever, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy how much time people spend commuting. Like I didn't really think about it. Like I didn't really consider that until it wasn't there anymore, and then I had to go back to it. And I'm just like, man, the days that I don't have to actually go there, I can wake up, set my own tone, and let's just say your typical 9 to 5 schedule, right?
Right.
Bro, if you up at 7, if you got kids or whatever your scenario is, at the end of the day, if you're up early or if you're sleeping in, 9 o'clock, you're on your computer, but that didn't involve you getting up and getting ready and driving and trying to figure out what to eat and stopping to get some coffee and everything that you typically go through, bro. You're so much more chill, like you're so much more relaxed. And then, like you said, at the end of the day, when it's shutdown time, you're already at the crib. You just got 2 hours of your life back.
I would love to have that conversation on like what working remotely has done for the mental space, because just like you said, I'm thinking about it. A typical work day, most people are up by like maybe 6:30, out the house at 7, fighting an hour of traffic, maybe pulling up at work around 8 to 8:15, or 9 to 9:30, depending on
Depending on what, yeah,
whatever your schedule is. But if you got to be to work at 8, you pulling up at 8, working, getting off at 5, and you doing the same thing. So like we talking about 6, 7 o'clock to like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. Like that's legit 12 hours, bro. Like, and by the time you get home, if you got family or even if you don't have family, you really burnt out from the whole day just to like wake up and do it all over again the next day. And you look at the fact that you're cutting out 3 to 4 hours of what you wouldn't have to do. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like so that you're getting 3 to 4 hours of your life back, so to speak. I mean, I could speak personally, bro. Like I was getting to that point where I was just like, yeah, it's about time for me to just go ahead and like chuck the deuces and just deal with the rest of it.
yeah,
And like, we started getting in quarantine. I was like, oh, it ain't that I don't really like my job. I just don't like going to the building and
yeah,
dealing
Yeah.
with the people there. And not saying that because I work with some beautiful people, like they're good people, but
mhm,
bro, it's just like I'm the type where I like to do my work and like be done. Like I'm not there for the social hour type thing. Even though
right,
I have some people I go to lunch with or whatever, but it's not like y'all are my best friends. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
y'all are my network. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't really go to work for that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's brilliant. I've told my wife we've had these conversations like, bro, I'm not going back in the office. Like not happening. Sorry.
Especially if it's not a need, man, for it, you still being as productive or even more productive. Working from home is just that's one thing a lot of people learn from the whole pandemic is just, hey, you can be productive right at home.
I say this for those who might have had extracurricular activities happening outside of the home. They might be a little frustrated right now, being stuck at
That,
home.
that's a good point.
Oh yeah,
That's a good
And by
yeah,
extracurricular activities, I mean extracurricular activities. Those folks that have companionship that are secretive and silent out
right.
there. Then yeah,
There's
all that
a
got
lot of
shut.
work relationships going on now. That's
A
for sure.
lot of work
Yeah,
relationships happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a thing. That is
Yeah.
definitely a thing, man.
And I ain't factored that in, bro. Like, just think, now, ask
But
yourself.
I didn't.
yeah, because it has to be. I mean,
There's
just
some
think
folks
about it, man.
miserable out here, like, bro. No, I want to go back to.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm
Laugh, but
saying.
but that's just real. That's the reality, though. For real, it's just like people like, no, like I need to go back to work. It's like, all right,
That some people escape, man. Work is
true,
there.
true.
I mean, especially if the home isn't a place of peace.
Right,
I mean,
That's
they
a good
might
point.
find more
Good point.
peace outside of the home than they do,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
inside, which
The
kind of sucks.
the pandemic probably saved some marriages, and it probably broke some marriages up
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Right.
Honestly,
No, that's for sure. But also just speaking on that place of peace, because and this is not even talking in terms of something going on at work. That could be your escape for some people. Work could be an escape from whatever you
Yeah.
have going on at home,
yeah,
and it's not even really speaking on something bad going at home. It's just like, hey, if you got like kids, wife, like maybe work is where you go to like not have to worry about kids or wife. You know what I mean?
hmm
So, no,
Right.
that makes a lot of sense. We do have to factor in that for some people that's that break that's needed. You know what I mean, to kind of recharge and refuel. So yeah, no, that's a good point.
I mean, think about the kids, man. Like it's kids out here who home is terrible. You know what I'm
True.
saying?
True.
Like home is home has no food, or
Mm,
Yeah.
home has an abuser. And so even when schools closed down, man, I mean that had to be detrimental to a lot of children.
right.
And I mean
Right.
we've already, I don't think we've seen the effects mental health wise of like kids and
Right.
what they had to face when schools are closed. So I mean, for schools to be open now is probably honestly a relief for a lot of children too.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That's real. That's real. Right. I think about that when you just speak on kids. Like my kids, in the back of their mind, probably think daddy don't work because I'm like they see me all the
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? Like they only see mommy going to work, so to speak. They just see daddy like at home on the computer. So
hmm
that's something
That's interesting.
that's interesting for them to see. You know what I mean? Like I'm always available, and that's something that it's a good thing, because
Yeah,
that people, some kids don't have that reality is that dad is like always available. So, um,
that's real.
it's an interesting dynamic. Interesting dynamic. Man, there was something else I wanted to talk about. Um, hmm, how can I frame this? I want to make sure I say this the correct way. Um,
I'll just spill it, dog. It's a Black Men Think podcast. Safe
it is a
space.
black.
Safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space. Um, have you ever been in a meeting that you just didn't want to be in, so to speak, and you were trying to find a way to relay to everyone that you didn't want to be in that meeting?
Your body language is gonna tell it all, man.
Man,
Yeah, it
body
is.
language will tell it all. You're right. But it's like, I mean, we've all been to some pointless meetings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Man, most of them
I think,
pointless.
I think I read an article. I was reading something about how a lot of meetings they're just pointless, as you said. It's like this could have been communicated to us by email.
100.
Man,
Like
it's so bad.
it's no, and sometimes I feel like people have to have meetings. I don't know, make themselves seem important, or I don't know.
Right.
It just I don't it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, this is like a waste of time.
It's
The
the
one
worst, man.
the ones I had are like the 3 minute meetings where we get on, everybody get comfortable and have like, that small talk at the beginning, and then you get into what the meeting is, and the meeting is like literally like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and like everybody looking around like, fam, we just like we
Right.
stopped work for this. Like
Now
we stopped what we
the
were doing.
small talk was 20 minutes.
Yeah, oh
And then
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the meat of the meeting is nothing. It's just like, but one thing that I have learned through this, man, is like my reality is not everybody else's reality. Like how we talk about
Mhm.
how we have a legitimate friend group outside of work. For some people, bro, that's their friend group. And
Right.
I mean, it is
And
what it is.
family too.
Yeah,
Sometimes, man,
yeah,
you
yeah,
talk to people and they be like, yeah, I haven't talked to my sibling and such and such. I'm like, man, like, but you never
Yeah.
know you
yeah.
never know what goes on with people, outside of work. But you'll be surprised. It's just people, their friends, his family when at work, because that's who you spend the majority of your time with.
That's
Right.
So
true. You are spending a lot of time with people at work. And that's,
yeah,
man, bro, it's such a backwards like mentality though, bro. Like when we really just break it down, like the amount of time that we spend around people who, I mean, we spend more time around those people at work than we really do with our real family. And
Mm.
it's
yeah,
like when you start really breaking that down, bro, it's like it doesn't make any sense at all. Like I mean, we legit spending 8 9 hours a day at work,
Yeah, it don't make sense.
and then you're in traffic for 2 of those hours. So now we're looking at 10 or 11 hours, and then you get home and you really spending about what, three or
An
four
hour and a
hours?
hour or
half.
two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hour or two max.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 hours if y'all like late hours or whatever, and
Oh,
then
Yeah.
real
you go
talk.
to sleep.
Then you get some sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, like and I'm sure all the parents can attest to this, bro. But the amount of time I actually spend with my kids versus spend with coworkers or my wife, even, it's just, but
Ridiculous.
even more so like my kids, like it's crazy. Because
Yeah.
like, I mean, when you wake up in the morning, it's mad dash to get them ready and get them to school, right? So at tops, I mean, you are in their presence for an hour in the mornings if you got that clockwork type of morning like
Hmm.
we do. And when you get home, by the time I get home, at least, I'm walking into dinner or bath time or whatever that is, and then it's a mad dash to get them down to sleep on time. So there's another hour or to an hour and a half. So you figure 2 to 3 hours versus all them hours that you just mentioned, spent trying to provide or whatever that's called.
No, it's crazy, bro.
It's backwards, man. It's
It's
backwards.
so backwards. It's so backwards.
It if you just like got a piece of paper and just really just write out the time where you probably be amazed. Because even when you think about the weekend, bro, it's like
That's crazy.
you errands you need to run on you can't do during the week. You trying to
Mm-hmm.
do on the weekend. Then like if you go to church or something on Sunday, I mean that's a couple hours. I mean, then before you know it, you wind down and you got to start getting preparing for Monday. It's just like it's like a continuous cycle, man. Retirement need to call my name real quick.
Bro, I
Nah,
mean,
for real, why you playing?
like, man, I'm hearing what everybody's saying, and I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, it's one of those things where it's almost frightening. To like, I can't see myself doing this in my 50s. Really, not even my 40s. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not trying to do this late into my 40s. I understand that I have a family and responsibilities, bro. But I can't imagine. Like, I mean, I got 60-year-old plus coworkers, bro, and like that is
Mm.
crazy to me. Like,
Yeah, bro.
I'm not even trying to judge them at all because everybody, got to put food on the table. But when I just sit back and think, like, yo, you 60 and you spending more time with us than like your family, only to get 2 weeks of vacation a year to go on a nice vacation. But it's like, what? That's just it's not even cool, bro. Like at all. It's a weird thing. Like even all the things that we talked about, right? Like when we've jokingly said, like, man, sure, I got to call off tomorrow so I can go and do this, or I got to come up with a plan to do this, or I'm like, oh, I'm coughing so I can go home. Like, bro, think about that. Like that doesn't
That's
even make
crazy.
sense, bro. Like that shouldn't even be a thing that we got to do that to do what we want to do in life. That's just it's wild, bro.
Mm.
What do y'all think about like a 4-day work week? Well, some people already have a 4-day
I was
work
like, I
week.
don't know what you're talking about.
So,
I'm trying to move it down
no,
to a 3-day work week.
I'm trying to say, bro. I'm at the 2 zone right now. Get in, get out.
You know,
yeah.
I like that idea, Corey, and I think about it from like so like Marlon and my wife, they're both in the medical field, right? And so most
My
people,
wife, not me. Yeah,
I'm sorry, yeah, my
yeah,
fault. Your wife and my wife, they're both in
right.
the medical field, and so for most people in the medical field, most of them work 2 or 3 days a week, and they
Right.
might work like 12-hour shifts, right? And you think about, man, they work max 3 days, like sometimes maybe four, but the majority of three days max out the week. So they got like 4 days during the week to like kind of do whatever they want to do. And you think about like, yo, they figured it out because there's a rotation, right? Like there's
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday might be somebody, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday might be somebody, and then the other days they overlap. And I think about, excuse me, I think about that concept being in corporate America. It can work, bro. Like there's just rotating days. Why
Mm-hmm.
not instead of us working a 5-day work week, why not we just work 3 days a week and then it just rotates with someone else doing something, and you think about it, the reason why is because there's the control factor and also we get this sense of entitlement where like, oh man, I have all these responsibilities, right? But when you have all of these responsibilities, it forces you to have to be here all of these days.
Yeah.
Where I can just like, hey, split my job by two people can do my job, right? Like two people, and let's rotate that. And now the problem comes with pay. As I'm thinking this out of my head, now it's like, well, you don't want all those responsibilities. But yeah, I mean that's something to think about, bro. Like 2 days a week, would you cut your pay in half to work 2 days a week?
Peace of mind is priceless. I will say that. You know, I think our culture is not built on that though. It's just that's a whole that requires a culture shift, bro. Like our culture is legit built on working your life away. It
Mm.
really is. My wife talks about this all the time, bro. Like she was like, it doesn't make sense how hard and how much we have to work in America.
Bro, hold that thought. I think that's a great conversation for Patreon.
Let's take it there.
So look, if y'all enjoy this, like we super appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. But like this here, let's go deeper on Patreon. So if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed to our Patreon account, go ahead and subscribe now, and subscribe to the thinkers tier so you can make sure you get the bonus content. But this is a great conversation. So like, look, Pause this. Go to Patreon. Hear part 2.
We'll see y'all there.
The Black Men Think Podcast.